Welcome to Tech Brothers. In this video, we're going to learn how to create job using SQL Server Agent, and we'll be using two ways to do it: using SQL Server Management Studio graphic user interface and using T-SQL Script. In this particular video, we'll be going through job parameters, step parameters, and job history options. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's my server, here's my SQL Server, and here's a SQL Server Agent. And in order to create a new job, you need to expand SQL Server Agent and go to job section, and you will see if there are already jobs there. You will see the jobs on the right hand side if you have the view Explorer detail open, and otherwise you can just click on a plus sign and you will see all the jobs. In order to create the new job, right click on the job and click on new job. The first option would be name of the job. I'm going to just name it demo. So the next option is owner up here. Keep in mind that you want to put an owner. Sometimes it's a little bit issue with keeping the owner who doesn't have permission to run the jobs. So make sure that you will basically get an error if you keep the owner and doesn't have permission to really create the job. But sometimes what happens when you keep the owner right here and you connect with the other SQL Server instances and try to get the system parameters using this job, then this job is going to fail. So best practice for me is to keep the owner as SA. So I will recommend you that whenever you create a job, keep the owner as SA. Categories, we'll go through the categories later on in another demo. I need to basically go through all these categories with you and talk about a little bit overview before we will choose any category. So right now we have just unrecognized, uncategorized local category, and keep in mind that when you create a job, if you have this option right here enabled, job is going to be enabled right away. But there's two options here. One is enable the job and another is enable the steps or schedule. So keep in mind that these three are separate entities as far as enable disable concerns. If you disable the scheduler, then it's not going to run even if the job is enabled. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it enabled. So click on steps. Right now you don't see any step. You're gonna, in order to create a new step, you need to click on new step and give a step name, and make sure that you give a step name something that is more meaningful. For me it is, I'm trying to get all the databases list, so list DB. So I'm going to get the list of databases. So in this type up here, transaction SQL, if I'm running a T-SQL statement, then I need the type would be T-SQL Script. But there are other types right here. If you are running operating system, CMD, PowerShell, replication distributor, all these options are right here. So we'll go through these options when we create different sort of jobs. When we create proxies, we'll be using more of these options. So run as, if you have a proxy already, then you can run as that proxy. And again, we will be creating the proxy in another demo, and then we'll be coming back to these jobs and changing some of the options. Right now I just wanted to keep it as default as far as this job creation concerns. I do want to connect with my master database. If you wanted to connect with some other database and you wanted to run that particular T-SQL script against that database, you need to change that database. Right now my database is master, and I'm going to go ahead and run select asterisk from or select name from sys.databases. And in order to make sure that this query parse, so we're going to go ahead and click on parse right here. Parse successfully. So we have the query that's parsed successfully. We're going to go ahead and go to advanced option right here. Advanced option is that the first action is on success. What action do you want to take? This is very simple job, but in organizations, jobs are not that simple. You have multiple steps in one job. So if you wanted to go ahead and go to this is by default action, go to the next step. But if you have multiple steps, then when you click here, it's going to give you options that what step you wanted to basically execute after this job, this particular step is successful. So that's important too. If job fails, how many times you wanted to retry, because sometimes job fails just because of a network connection, and next moment the connection comes up and you want not user action but keep job retrying. So you wanted to go ahead and fill this information if you would like to. This is a nice option that you wanted to do like two or three times retry and every 10 minutes. So this is a good option to use if you wanted to use that. On failure action, usually if you have an email set up, a step that you wanted to send an email that this job is failed, you can go ahead and select that, and you can put that in a separate step, which we'll do one complex job in later demos, and we'll be filling all this information. And you will see that when you wanted to send a notification that job has failed to your team, how you would do that. So output file right here, if you wanted to have the output of this execution to a file, you can go ahead and give that file name right here. I'm going to give it to database info. So click OK. Append the output file. If you click that, then it's going to append, and it may increase the file size of your file, but sometimes it is good to have like 6 or 7 days appended file, because you know that you know what were the execution of this job from last 2 or 3 days. So if you click on append job, it's not going to delete the existing information. It's just going to append the information that's already existed. But if you not check this every time this I'm going to do a text file. So every time this database info text file it's going to get deleted, and then new information will be written to that particular file. So you have other option that if you wanted to log the output of this particular job to log to a table. Sometimes it's a good idea to put it in the table if for critical jobs in SQL Server, and you can go ahead and basically create a table, and if you look at it and then create a table and give the table name, and it will be basically stored in the table, and then you can query the table and look for specific errors. Sometimes it's a good idea. So include steps, output, and history. If you don't want to do that, if you wanted to include the history, this will increase the history. Keep in mind that this option right here is not recommended for production, so I wouldn't do that. But what it means is that if you click that, all the output will be in the history, and your history will be a big table, and it'll consume a lot of space, and plus it's also will be retention hurt. So run as user. If you wanted to run this particular user as a different user particular step, then you can do that as well. So we're gonna go ahead and everything looks okay as far as job creation concerns. So we're gonna go ahead and click OK right here. We have not gone to the schedule. So if you wanted to schedule this job, let's go ahead and schedule this job. DB schedule daily schedule. So I want it up here that start when SQL Server Agent, start when CPU becomes idle, or just one time. If you wanted to do one time, everything basically grayed out, and you have a start time, and it'll run only one time. So we're gonna go ahead and recurring. Up here you have options, occurs every week, daily, monthly, and you can select all the what day of the week you wanted to run this job. So I just wanted to show you, I'm going to go ahead and not use the schedule, but I just wanted to make sure that you understand what the schedule means up here. Right here I was talking about enable. If this schedule is not enabled and job is enabled, it's not gonna run if it's scheduled, and schedule is not enabled. So we're gonna go ahead and cancel this right here. Duration, start time, and there is no end time. So until this job is disabled or deleted, it'll keep running on the specified schedule that you specified here. So we're gonna go ahead and cancel this. Next is alert. This is very important. If you don't have alerts are that if job fails, if you have set up the alert, then it's going to go ahead and send the alert. Right here, alert, alert needs to be enabled in order for it to work. So SQL Server alert, SQL Server performance condition alert, and all these alerts that you can choose. Event alert definition, all databases, error numbers, specific error numbers, all these, if these are the alerts that you can pick and choose. And if you go to responses, you can go ahead and if you have set up already the operator, then you can go ahead and you have an option to create the operator right here, and it'll send email or text to that particular operator. Right here are the options that how you want your operator to know or yourself to know. You want to do it via email, pager, or net send. Additional notification message to send, you can put that this message is from for this job, and basically get to it rather critical, or whatever you wanted to put. This is just a custom message that you wanted to put in when you send the alert. So we're going to go ahead and cancel that as well. Notification right here is the same action to perform when job completes. If job completes, send an email. Usually in production, if job completes, that's fine. If it doesn't complete, then that's when basically you wanted to go ahead and send an email. If job fails, right here is the by default option, which is good. If job succeeded, if you wanted to just know that job has completed successfully or not, then it's going to, you can choose these options. And right here, if you have set up the operator, you are going to get that option. You can go ahead and basically select that particular operator. Pager, net send, write to Windows application log. When job fails, you can write it in Windows application log. We'll go through the error logs in SQL Server, and once we'll go through the overview of error logs, you will understand what exactly the Windows application event log means. So automatically delete job, this is I really don't like this option. You don't want to delete the option when job succeeded. If it is one time and it's successful and you wanted to delete it, just want to make sure that it's not there anymore and doesn't run, then you can use this option. So target is local server. If you wanted to have multiple servers run this job, you can go ahead and add your multiple servers. Right now we don't have multiple servers. You have to do different settings in order to add multiple servers this particular job. So we'll go through that in another demo, but right now this is just a simple job, how to create job, how to create a step, how to create a schedule, how to go through the alerts, how to create an alert, how to create a notification, and how to choose SQL Server. These are the general settings. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And as you can see that the job is created, and you can go ahead and basically run this job, and we'll see the output right there. Let's go ahead and run this job. Alright, job ran successfully. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the TBS client and data. This is where we have put our database info file. As you can see that it has selected all the databases and give us 8 rows. This is how you output your job when you output in a file. So we're gonna go ahead and delete this job and create the same job using our script. So we're gonna go ahead and delete, right click and delete this job. So we're gonna go ahead and load our script, and it's the same thing. It's using MSDB. All the jobs gets created using agent is in database MSDB. That's a system database right here. So a job name up here, job parameters, and there is a step parameters right here. So we're gonna go ahead right here, step parameters, and we're going to go ahead and run this script and see what job creates. Right now it's test. So let's go ahead and refresh this and look at look at here. Right here is the job. So we're going to go ahead, and we have not changed the owner because we have specified the owner of the job right here, TechBrothers Cluster Admin. We can go ahead and basically update this to SA. and that would be a good practice as far as I'm concerned. So we're gonna go ahead and SA and click OK, and then go back to the properties of the job, and let's look at the steps. Okay, it's select asterisk from system databases. This is selecting all the parameters of the system databases. Let's look at and it's going to go ahead and create a DB name. I forgot to put the extension right here. It's going to go ahead and put all the output of your job into dbname.txt file. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. Okay, and let's run this job. Alright, let's take a look on the output of the job. DB names. As you can see right here, it has given all the information of the databases right here. So this is how you output a job to a file. You can later on send this file to yourself or your team as an output of this execution of this particular job. And basically this is it. This is how you create job using SQL Server Agent. We have gone through some job parameters, step parameters, and job history option. I hope this video helps.